Why? When we put our mind there in the walking meditation, then we develop concentration. We put our mind there so that it will not go to the past or the future, because the mind is so habitual that it is always searching for objects, searching for present object of enjoyment, or going back to the past object for enjoyment, or thinking of the future. So the mind is constantly running all over. So usually we call that a monkey mind. It's jumping from object to object. If he likes the object, then he hold on to it for a longer time. But if he doesn't like the object, they let go and jump on to the next object. But there are times when there is no awareness, then it clings on, grabs on even to unpleasant objects. So therefore the suffering prolongs. But if you cling on to something pleasant, then you enjoy, then the mind likes it. Now if he thinks about the childhood, where he goes camping, he has a lot of friends, and they enjoy a lot, there are guitars, they have good food, then they have songs, they have dances. Now when the mind dwells on that in the past, it feels a sense of joy and happiness. He's leaving the past, even though the past is no more, but he's leaving the past in the present moment, as if he's enjoying it now. And if he thinks of the future, one day I retire, I have a lot of money, I go around the world, then it gives joy again to the mind. But the funny thing is, if the mind can always anchor on pleasant object, then it will give us a lot of happiness. We just have to imagine, and we are happy. We only have to think happy thoughts, then we are happy. But it is not so. It does not only stay with pleasant objects, it also stays with unpleasant objects. That is the greatest problem in our mind. And a lot of time it likes to think about things that are things of suffering. It likes to think, oh, I'm growing old. What happens if my children don't look after me when I grow old? What happens if I grow old, I have no money, I don't have enough savings? They like to think of the past. Why in the past somebody did that to me, somebody stole my money, cheated me. Their mind goes on unpleasant objects, and if we anchor on it, and these thoughts produce a lot of painful feeling, and that is suffering. There are times you wake up in the morning and you feel so disturbed, and you don't even know why you are disturbed. Probably something happened yesterday that is not so nice, or you have a bad dreams, and when you wake up, the thought is continuing with something that is happening which is unpleasant. So the mind is like a yo-yo, going up and down. 1 minute you are happy, next minute you are sad, next minute you are happy, another minute you are sad. And if you grab hold of this object that is unpleasant, then you are sad for a long time. Like on the road, if you walk on the road and you step on some shit, some dog shit, that probably will last a few hours. Even when you clean your feet, the smell still stays there. You think, yeah, this dog shit, so smelly. Even when the smell no longer there, but your mind still smell it. It stays there. The mind just grabs on it. That is without mindfulness. If you're not aware, if you're not mindful, you do not let go, then it becomes stronger and stronger, the thoughts. So anchoring on the body, when you have nothing to do, when you are free, When you're not thinking of something like cooking or doing your work, then it is good to anchor on reality, the body. It is good to anchor so that your mind stays in the present moment and becomes very peaceful as you watch the rising, falling, rising, falling. So it don't run to the past or to the future or keep searching for a lot of nonsense, because your mind has one object at a time. A mind cannot take so many objects at one time. So once he takes this object of rising and falling, this one object, and he stays there, then becomes peaceful, because the reality object do not agitate the mind. Reality object do not agitate the mind, because it is nature object. It is air element, rising, falling, rising, falling. Only concept agitates the mind. If somebody were to say something nice, you become very happy. It is only air element. When he talks, it is air element, various tone. But your concept grabs on it and say, oh, he's praising me, then you're happy. But if he's scolding you, then you become unhappy. Then you know, hey, he's scolding me. It's the concept. But if he's saying something you don't understand, even he scold you, you smile. Huh? If you go to France and then this guy don't like you and scold you in French, you think that's very musical, and you smile because that's musical, but the fact he's scolding you, but you don't understand. You don't have the concept. You don't understand French. So it is actually, the reality is the motion, the air element. Now if you were to take the air element, the body as the body, then the mind just stay peaceful and calm. So these reality body objects is very useful for our meditation as we practice in daily life. Two types of practice. One is formal, where you sit quietly in your room or in a meditation hall, called formal meditation, where you shut off all your sense door if possible. Just put your mind to this one object, rising, falling. If somebody come in and bang the door, then you note the hearing. Don't care who, don't add any more things inside. Don't say, who stupid fella, go and knock, slam the door. Don't say that. Just hearing, then go back, rising, falling. Another is the informal meditation, where you do every day in your house when you're sweeping. Then you know you're sweeping, air element. It's just motion, you're sweeping. Put your mind there in just sweeping. Or you're hanging up the shirt and you're hanging. If it is hot, then you know it's hot. The sun is hot, it's heat element. If you're able to put your mind into the elements, then your mind becomes deeper and deeper. It gets into the samadhi, calmness or tranquility. And a lot of happiness is born out of tranquility. It's a byproduct of peacefulness of mind. You experience a lot of joy. There are different types of joy. Some superficial, some very deep and intense. And we call that the spiritual joy. It is different from the senses joy, the joy of the senses. We call it the worldly joy. When you see something pleasant and beautiful, it gives you great joy to see. If you hear nice music, it gives you great joy to hear. Or if you taste something very nice, you like the taste, it gives you great joy and happiness. That is the worldly joy, that through the senses. But in meditation, we have the spiritual joy. Not born out of enjoyment, but born out of peacefulness of mind. Become very happy, very contented. So, in daily life, watching the body, so you be aware of what you're doing the moment here and now, which the Buddha says. Now, if you have the book with you, you turn to page 6. Again, monks, when walking, a monk knows I'm walking. When you're walking. Now, after your lunch or dinner, better after your dinner, if you have a garden, you just go out to your garden and just do walking up and down. Then you know you're walking. You feel very peaceful if you're not disturbed, if you put your mind down in your walking, just the walking movement. Or when standing, he knows I'm standing. Now there is this another posture, standing posture, meditation. Now when you stand, you practice the same way as you sit. You can get your rising and falling. Or if it is not clear, you could have your leg, when it's pressed on the floor, it becomes very heavy, or it becomes very hard, earth element. Or you could feel itchiness, or you feel vibration. As you stand, you feel a bit of vibration. Then you straighten up again, stand straight. But you're not allowed to stand too long because you may fall. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes is quite all right. Standing, instead of just sitting all the time, you get more and more lazy, more and more you fall into sleeping, so standing keeps you awake. Especially in the class, when you feel like you're going to snore off, then stand up and do your standing meditation. Just stand up, put your hand on your abdomen, get the rising, falling. If the feeling is very strong, then take the feeling, just stand. If you feel a bit of movement, then watch the movement, then you know movement, then you stand straight again. Just as when you're sleepy in your sitting, you drop like that, then you sit up straight again. Never mind, let it drop. Drop like that, you sit up again. What do you note? Heaviness. When you're sleepy, you feel very heavy. Earth element. Forehead very heavy. And watch the heaviness. And when you move, air element, then you bring it up again. After you knock and knock and knock, then you become wide awake. You have enough of knocking, then you wake up. Right? So you can do standing posture. It's exactly the same as your sitting posture. Only it is standing. Then the Buddha says that when he's lying down, he knows I'm lying down. Now, before you go to sleep at night, your bedtime, you can do some sitting first. When you're tired, you just lie down on your bed on one side. But don't put your hand on your neck. So just put it on your pillow, so it won't cause so much strain and pain and numbness. Then put one hand on your abdomen or stomach. Then feel the rising and falling. Once you are tired, you do that 5-10 minutes. Then you turn the other side. Have you seen the Buddha sleeping on one side? Just the leg a bit bended. You don't have straight no balance, so it's a bit bended. Then you find very comfortable, and your hand is the balancing of your lying posture. So when you're tired, then you turn over the other side, and your right hand over your abdomen if you're on the left. Now if you're sleeping on your right, your left hand on your abdomen, and you do that rising, falling, then you can go and fall asleep, no problem. Now when you sleep peacefully, you have less nightmares. Otherwise, you have bad dreams. A lot of bad dreams because your mind is disturbed. And it follows into your dream. If you have a lot of anger, frustration, then you are going to have bad dreams. What comes out is through pictures when you sleep. Then you have funny dreams. You start running, people chasing after you. Fear arises. Then you know that you have a lot of fear in your mind. And sometimes you dream you're falling. You have a lot of fear. Worse still, when you dream of ghosts chasing you, there's so much fear. So it shows in your dream, your mind states. But if you meditate and you fall asleep, you will have peaceful dream most of the time. Lying posture, right? And of course, the sitting posture. What you're doing now, you sit balanced with the 3 points. 1 point here, 1 point on the right, and one point at your back. Now for beginners, it is good to sit higher so that there are less pressure on your leg. So you won't get numbness and pain so fast, right? So if you have proper posture, then you feel more relaxed. You can meditate for a longer time without experiencing much pain. Or in whatever position his body is, he knows the position of the body. Whatever position. So in between, which we'll cover on the next page afterwards. Or I'll go a bit on the next page, on 7. He's walking forward and backwards. A monk practice clear comprehension. Now whatever position, in between, when he's dressing, when he's bending, when he's brushing, so just know you're brushing. When you're cooking, just know you're cooking. Just put your mind there instead of having a lot of concept. Now if you're cooking and you think about a lot of things that is unpleasant, then you get very agitated. And you cook and cook. The more you cook, the more you get agitated. You start to think, okay, why this thing so expensive? Why 1 kg of vegetable now? Why so little only? Then it's tomorrow I'll go and scold that vegetable fella. As you cook, the mind goes somewhere else and think and gets very angry. And then after you think the husband always come back late, he comes back that time. I put it in the fridge, then he knows. He gets more and more angry. So the mind is not in what he's doing. The mind is thinking. As he's cooking, he's thinking. And then he says, got to put salt or not? I better put one more time. The mind is not in what he is doing. Like sometimes there are people who just put their keys all over the place and they can't find. Every time they're looking for keys. There are those who keep looking for their specs. They always forget. I don't know where I put. And there are those who are always searching for their purse. Because they're not mindful. They're thinking. And while they're doing things, they keep on thinking of other things. And so they do not know what's happening actually. Our mind has so much thoughts, thinking all the time, and we are trapped in our thinking world, concepts, and we live with a lot of joy or happiness, depending on what we think all the time. So we need to anchor in the present, in the body. And once you develop mindfulness on the body, when there is calmness and peacefulness, then the mind becomes clear. There will be later on, you start to meditate on mindfulness or watching your mind, observe your mind. That is a more difficult object to practice because the mind is so subtle. Mind is so swift, comes and goes so fast that you can't catch it. It's more difficult. So you need to build up your mindfulness on the body. Once the mindfulness is built up, then the mind becomes clear. Then you can watch the mind clearly because it's built up through the concentration that you develop in the practice on the body. In bending and stretching his limb, he practiced clear comprehension, bending, stretching, all these. Eating, chewing, drinking, and tasting, he practiced clear comprehension. Even when you're eating, you know that you're eating is a nice taste. It's not so nice taste. It's hard, it's soft. Now once you're mindful, then you won't get carried away with anger if you don't like the taste of something. So you note, okay, it's just a pleasant taste or it's just an unpleasant taste. So it is a good practice of mindfulness that you don't overeat because you like the taste. Then after that, you have stomach trouble. You keep on eating and eating. Then you have a lot of problem arising. If you eat too much Kentucky Fried Chicken, your cholesterol becomes so high. That is because you lost control. So you should know that it is eating, it's nice taste, but it is not healthy to eat too much because you're aware, you're mindful. So we should practice mindfulness on eating, even in speaking. should be mindful before you speak, so that you will not hurt another person. You should not say something you don't like to say. Sometimes even between husband and wife, they say a lot of strong words when they get angry. Then after that, the husband regret and say, "You please forget what I say just now. Forget about it. You think easy to forget? Once you listen already, you say, okay, watch the mind, like a tape. Watch it, clean the tape. No, it stays in the mind. And sometimes it stays there for a long, long time. After 10 years, when you quarrel, so you remember, it comes out. So you must be mindful even when you want to speak. The words that you speak, is it hurting? Is it harming our relationship? Is it a wrong speech? So even the Buddha says, when you want to talk, even you're mindful when you're talking. Walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, even falling asleep. There are those meditators whose mindfulness is so sharp. The moment of falling asleep, they know. And wake up, the moment they wake up, they know that now they are awake. The moment of falling asleep, and when sometimes they are so close together, it is like the twilight zone. It's like, hey, am I sleeping or not? Or am I awake or not? They're actually aware of their dreams. It is so strange that when the mindfulness is developed, they know when they are in dream. There is once, I have a very strange experience. I was in the dreaming and I was having very nice food. And I was eating and eating and eating non-stop because the food was so nice. It's like a banquet and there was so much nice food. And as I was eating and eating and eating, and then I noticed, how come I eat, but I am not full? Then I realized, it is my mind that is eating, but my body don't eat. There's no food. There's no food in my stomach. It's only my mind that is enjoying the food. It is very strange. And at that moment in my dream, I say to myself, I'm dreaming. And that is the most strange phenomena when I woke up. Then I say, in my dream also, I know I am dreaming. It's so strange phenomena. And I start to question myself, how come I keep eating and eating, but I don't feel my stomach full? And I realized that I was eating through my mind, not through my stomach. Now that is the phenomena of mindfulness. It is so fantastic. You would experience a lot of things that is so strange that you have not experienced before. Once you develop your mindfulness. Thus, he lived practicing internally body contemplation in the body. That means you just observe your own body. Whatever you do, the rising, the falling, the movement, just observe it when you're free. When you're brushing your teeth, when you wake up, then you know you're sitting up, you're walking to the bathroom, you're putting your Colgate, you're brushing, you're rinsing your mouth, you experience the water, it's hot, it's cold. Then you dress up. You have a lot of time, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But once you open your door and you're in the car, remember that, no more rising and falling. Then you won't see what is in front. It's very dangerous. Because there was this meditator who said, wow, Brother James, when I drive my car, also rising and falling so clear. I said, you want to die? Or you want to kill somebody? Because you get so absorbed in your rising and falling, you can't see what is in front. So you're not supposed to do that. Rising and falling when you are driving. You're supposed to have a general mindfulness. Watch your objects external. Watch your mind. That you don't drive with anger, frustration. You don't drive with a lot of stress. Then you note your mind. Relax, relax, relax. General mindfulness. I think I will stop here.